Hello everybody and a very warm welcome to NewsMeter. This is Anurag and here we are with yet another video. The year 2019 is almost over. By cricketing means, it is over for India. India recently won the ODI series against West Indies 2-1 to conclude their cricketing year on a high, which included a lot of wins, a lot of losses, not a lot of losses I would say, a lot of wins, a lot of surprises and rare moments of failure. Yeah, while we talk about the rare moments of failure, the World Cup semi-final loss, doesn't it prick everybody of those cricket fans who wanted Dhoni to finish the line, to cross the line, everybody who wanted Guptill to miss the throw, everybody who wanted Virat to lift the cup at Lords. But it didn't happen, so better luck next time to the boys and Virat, and hope they make us proud ever and again. Talking about the year, we've been through some magnificent moments throughout the year. Maybe right back in January when Virat Kohli lifted the Border Gavaskar Trophy in Australia, being the first Asian captain, first Indian captain to lift the Border Gavaskar Trophy in 71 years. Can you believe it? One of the biggest moments in the history of Indian cricket, winning a test series in Australia against Australia. Then came the ODI series win in New Zealand after 10 long years. So the 10-year challenge was a trend back then in those times, and the boys made sure they followed in a grandest way possible, and they did. They won the ODI series 4-1 and were on a good rhythm towards the World Cup. And each and every one of them had a good IPL season. Rohit Sharma played a magnificent role in anchoring Mumbai Indians to the fourth historic IPL title. Then came the big World Cup. The World Cup we were expecting India will definitely win because India had a very strong lineup compared to all the teams, and they proved it by losing only one match in the league stage in the round robin format, that too to England. Although we did not win the semi-final, it was a heartbreaking moment for all of us, but Virat and men made sure they wouldn't disappoint us after that, as they won the series in West Indies, both Test, ODI and T20. This is all over with the analysis to the walkout of the entire year of 2019. Let's speak about 5 such players who made the headlines but not the way they wanted to, the negative way. 5 such players who drew flack for their various reasons and for various activities that they were into. Starting off, Hardik Pandya and KL Rahul. This duo is known as the besties forever, BFF duo of the Indian cricket team. May it be on the field, may it be off the field, they have a magnificent understanding amongst themselves. And so did we see that in Coffee with Karan, the famous talk show hosted by Karan Johar. It was in its 6th season when Karan Johar decided to invite Hardik Pandya and KL Rahul for a talk, which did not go the right way, where Rahul termed some racist and sexist comments on women, and also which were also termed as misogynistic. Twitter went cats and dogs after them. Twitter went bonkers when they got to know about the statements. A lot of memes were made, and sadly, Hardik and Rahul were suspended. Next, they did come back to the game, but the year 2019 didn't go as Hardik Pandya would have wanted it to go, because he had a brilliant IPL season nonetheless. He went into the World Cup, he had a decent World Cup, although he didn't contribute as much as he could have. And then a back injury. A back injury led to a surgery and then out of the Indian team for the rest of the year. Although he's selected for India A, which is going to play 3 ODIs and 2 4-day games in New Zealand earlier in 2020. So all the best to Hardik and speedy recovery to him as now, and he's at his road to recovery. He's training hard, he's playing the shots again, he's practicing, he's on the nets, and hope so Hardik comes back stronger into the Indian team. The Indian team does require Hardik. Moving on, KL Rahul. The counterpart, the second half of the Coffee with Karan controversy, KL Rahul also drew a lot of flack for his comments alongside Hardik Pandya, and was seen enjoying his comments, you could say. But he didn't have a good comeback as well. He didn't score in the India A games against the England Lions. He then had a brilliant IPL season, which helped him make a place in the World Cup squad. Yes, he was in the World Cup squad. He played well. He replaced the injured Shikhar Dhawan as the opener alongside Rohit Sharma, and the duo of Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul had some wonderful partnerships wherein both Rahul and Rohit scored hundreds against Sri Lanka, Rahul's first World Cup 100. Although tables turned very fast, very soon, as he couldn't do anything as such that he's been doing in the World Cup in the semi-final, in the must-win game, in the do-or-die game against New Zealand, which took India down the line. He was then selected in the Test team as well, in the place of Shikhar Dhawan as usual, and he did disappoint the selectors, the fans, everybody in the Test series against West Indies, and was soon after dropped by the team in Tests. Mayank Agarwal was the replacement, and boy, what an innings he's been playing for the Indian team since he's joined. Doesn't look like Rahul's coming back to the team anytime soon. He did end the 2019 on a good note, wherein he scored runs in the T20s and the ODIs against West Indies. He's been among the runs now, and he's in great touch. He recently scored 100 against West Indies, his third ODI 100, and wishing KL Rahul all the good form in 2020. Carry your brilliant form, KL, and hope you cement your place in the team. Moving forward, Rishabh Pant. Haven't we all had a hope on Rishabh, saying that he will succeed, he will carry on the legacy which MS Dhoni has left behind? He did wonderfully well in the Test matches. For that matter, where he scored a magnificent 100, a debut 100 in Test cricket in England, followed by a Test 100 in Australia. That made him the first Indian wicketkeeper to score 100 in Australia. A 21-year-old batsman from Delhi scoring 100, a magnificent 100 at the SCG, Sydney Cricket Ground. That is how dreams come true for Rishabh. And when it looked like Rishabh is in the zone and cementing his place, he just threw it away. He just didn't utilize the opportunities well, especially in the limited formats where he was given chances. He's played 12 ODIs till now, 12 to 14 is what he's played, and he's only got 150 in the recent times. That was his maiden 50 in ODI cricket. So he's not been that kind of a player that India required in the ODIs and T20s. Although T20s he's been performing every now and then with some quick fire cameos, and he scored a 50 as well. But he's not been able to retain his place in the Test side. Wriddhiman Saha replaced him in the Test side against the Test series played against South Africa in India, and wherein Virat Kohli made it clear that Saha is the better keeper. Saha has better credentials when it comes to wicket keeping, and he will keep for us in this series. That went on to the West Indies, to the Bangladesh series as well, where Rishabh Pant was dropped and Wriddhiman Saha played on. So that way he did lose his place in the Test team, and in a surprising move, the BCCI decided to release him by the end of the second Test to play Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy for Delhi, wherein K.S. Bharat from Andhra Pradesh was called in as Wriddhiman Saha's backup. Surprising how Rishabh might be losing his place in the Test side. Only time will say. India is not going to play Test cricket anytime soon now that the limited overs format and the T20s are around the corner. The T20 World Cup is next year in November, so they will be focusing on the limited formats, and Rishabh is a part of the limited formats, so that should not be a concern. As far as only the Test cricket should be a bit of concern for him, as he has lost his place to Wriddhiman Saha. Now, Moving on to the next player, Dinesh Karthik. This player made a once in a lifetime comeback. He had a once in a lifetime moment when he smacked a six on the last ball of the Nidahas Trophy final back in 2018, at the end of 2018, when they defeated Bangladesh. That was one of the best moments in cricket in the recent times. He just came in, blasted a 29-run cameo, quick fire cameo, and then what happens? Dinesh Karthik gets selected in the World Cup after a gap of 12 years. He last played the 2007 World Cup. He was a part of the 2007 squad, and then he was dropped. He came back to the 2019 World Cup squad. He was picked ahead of Rishabh Pant, for that matter, for his experience that he carries, and he couldn't get to play much as usual because MS was the primary wicketkeeper, and only if MS had any injury, Dinesh would have played. He did get to play a few games, but couldn't show that caliber, show that batting. He couldn't perform to his potential. He had a wonderful opportunity. He had a platter in front of him to consume, a platter full of opportunities at the semi-final versus New Zealand. India were 3 down. Dinesh Karthik was on the crease. What did he do? We would have expected a quick fire innings or a timely, slowly built innings from Dinesh Karthik, keeping in mind his experience. But he played 25 balls, scored 6 runs, out of which 1 boundary. So that was one innings that Dinesh would rather forget. It was a nightmare for him as well as the Indian fans all over the world, for Indian cricket, as India as usual lost the semi-final. But what happened next? He was dropped. He was dropped from the Indian team following the World Cup snub, and then he never made it again, never made it back to the Indian team. Sadly, he was also sacked as the Tamil Nadu captain in the domestic circuit, as Vijay Shankar replaced him as the skipper of Tamil Nadu. So tough times indeed for Dinesh Karthik, and the next big assignment he has is to captain the Kolkata Knight Riders in the IPL beginning in the summer, and hope he performs well there and gets back to the team. That is what we can say. And now the final name of the list, Prithvi Shaw. What a player. This explosive Mumbai batsman made a wonderful debut, a dream debut for any cricketer possible. He hit a century against West Indies in his debut. He's the youngest debutant to score a century on his debut, and he made the headlines. He cemented his place, I would say, in the Indian cricket team, in the Test squad especially. And unfortunately, he had injured himself later on and missed out on the Australia series, the Border Gavaskar Trophy. And then on his road to recovery, he made a small mistake which cost 9 months of his time. On his road to recovery, he consumed a substance which is banned by WADA, World Anti-Doping Agency, for cricketers, and he had given a doping test in Indore while he was playing the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy. He was called in for a doping test, and then when he was tested positive. On further inquiries, it was known that he consumed a prohibited substance called terbutaline, which is mostly found in cough syrups. He was then unfortunately handed a backdated suspension of 8 months, which was till 15th of November 2019. Although he was allowed to get back to practice after September 15th, he was only allowed to play any forms of professional cricket after 15th November. And yes, he did play cricket after 15th November. He made a wonderful comeback as he played the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy for Mumbai, the T20 Trophy for Mumbai, and then scored a magnificent 60 odd runs comeback match. And he was also criticized in the same match for his celebration style. Do you remember this celebration style? Back then, Virat Kohli did the same thing in South Africa when he scored 100. when he scored the wonderful 150. He did the same, saying that the bat talks and not the mouth. Prithvi Shaw tried to emulate Virat Kohli in the same way, but turn got a lot of criticism and heat as he was termed arrogant. Well, it didn't look so arrogant for a player like Prithvi Shaw. A comeback is something very important, and he did make a statement. He went on to score a double 100 in the Ranji Trophy, and he is giving a tough time for the selectors. He's always in the radar. Also, he's also the part of the Indian team, India A team, touring New Zealand in next year, which is going to, the India A team is going to tour New Zealand A in New Zealand. It is going to play the Kiwis for 3 ODIs and 2 4-day games. He's part of both the format, both the teams, the 2 4-day games and the ODIs. We wish Prithvi all the best. We wish Prithvi all the luck. The form shall continue, Prithvi, and you shall get back to the Indian team. Your place is coming back soon if the form continues like this. That was all you need to know about the 5 cricketers who went under the radar in 2019 for various reasons, all negative. And although Indian cricket has had a lot of bright moments, and as Virat Kohli termed, this is one of the best years in the history of cricket for India, apart from the last 30 minutes in the World Cup. So removing that aside, keeping that aside, India has had a wonderful year with Virat Kohli topping the ICC ODI batsman and Test batsman rankings, Rohit Sharma being second in the ODIs, Jasprit Bumrah being the number 1 ODI bowler. It has all gone India's way this year, apart from few moments which everyone wants to forget. Let's hope that India continues its dominance over formats against teams in 2020, as well as they play Sri Lanka in a 3-match T20 series from January 5th in Guwahati. Until then, see you soon with the next video with next updates in sports. So on this note, concluding the video, and this is what we had in store for you today. The 5 cricketers who drew flag, who went under the radar in 2019, and hope these guys come back stronger. Few of them are already on the way to success, to getting back in form, and hope Indian cricket rises and rises. Until then, do like the video, please, if you have liked what I've spoken all this time, and do let us know what you feel after watching the video. Do in the comment section, and do subscribe to the channel to get updated often, and do press the bell icon to get notified, to get notified about all the updates of whatever's happening around the world in various fields. Keep watching NewsMeter.